From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a wonderful early mornings here on Mornings LALATE with incredible details about your fourth stimulus check. The Democrats say they're going to give it to you. The president says you're going to get it. The House and Senate all say you're going to get it. And in this recording, we're going to go over what the Democrats propose to give you in this fourth stimulus check, a monthly stimulus check. Then we'll be turning to fifth stimulus and why the president dedicated additional $1 billion to the program and why fifth stimulus may also have another stimulus check. Wow. Then we turn to the thousands of dollars you can get across the board, and it's all available right now. It's a big, beautiful morning. There's a lot of things happening. Everyone's talking, everyone's looking, and there's still no darn bacon. It's sort of the same old thing, except that. But this is a wonderful morning, and it starts right now. It is beautiful here in Southern California, but I'm afraid it's not going to be beautiful next week. They're talking about a very big heat wave coming in next week. Oh, Lord. So tell me how the weather is where you are and where you're watching from if you're in the live chat just after 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or later today watching the video. Drop it on the comments where you're watching from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update 2021, we're going to go over how everyone's talking about four stimulus checks. Everyone except the Republicans. And Mitch, the president's talking about, the Senate, the House, print media, myself, which, I've been talking about just a few times. And we'll be talking about what they're saying and what they're promising. That fourth stimulus check that starts the month of July, how much you're going to get and when you're going to get it. We'll be going over all the analysis. Then we'll be cutting to fifth stimulus later this fall. And the talk of a stimulus check in the fifth stimulus package, oh yeah, that's a new surprise. And then the $1 billion is being added to the fifth stimulus package by administrative purposes. I'll explain the wonderful news about that as well. And then we'll be going over what we should anticipate with the thousands of dollars landing in their bank accounts this week and the new jobs number this Thursday morning. It's a big morning. And with that, make sure you subscribe. This is LALATE, the fastest growing 24-hour a day, only 24-hour a day, 7 day a week financial news channel. I'm live with you or tape with you 24 hours a day, literally. Coming up next is Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. live on air, followed by Mornings Crypto, and then noontime at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And at the time of this broadcast is also evenings, overnights Crypto, currently airing live. So when you're finished with this video, jump into that. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus package and check with the bill and the proposal. The bill from Jalapal in the House provides a monthly stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. That would mean deliciousness, wouldn't it? It would. Pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal, on the other hand, provides a stimulus check from now to December. Let's compare that against the monthly amounts. The monthly amounts for Jalapal's House bill is $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. Senate is unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Oh my goodness. Yes, really. That is per person. Senate proposal, $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000 a person. $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400 a person. If you're watching this show when it airs at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, get ready to vote in the live chat, House or Senate, or if you're watching later in the day, in the description of this video. But let's go back over something that is really at issue. How many months? A new series of inquiries suggests that Jalapal's bill may get reduced to just 1 year because the pandemic may be considered over. That would result in 12 months of stimulus checks under Jalapal's bill, which is $13,000 over 12 months, compared to this over 6 months. I think you have an opinion now, so get ready to vote. Jump in the live chat. House or Senate, which one you like? House or Senate, and which one, where you're tuning in from, and how's the weather? All right, let's go over all the incredible details about this fourth stimulus check that the president and Congress is talking about. First, how much, first, who gets the fourth stimulus check? The Democrats represent, you all get it if you got a third stimulus check. 75,000 or less single individual, the Democrats will give you a stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats represent, they'll give you a double check. A family of four, household of four, you will get a fourth stimulus check from the Democrats. Just quadruple it. And then if you're on benefits, the Democrats represent, they're going to give you a stimulus check as well. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Rural Benefits. Wonderful news. The fourth stimulus check is not income, so it's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check, so don't wave at it. It won't wave back. It's a monthly check. And the fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for every individual the Democrats propose. So adult dependents and minor dependents, we all would get the same stimulus check. Just don't call me an infant. Because I'm not. Then when would we get the fourth stimulus check from the Democrats? The Democrats say the vote will be by July 4th. That means that the first check would come in the month of July for the month of July. And then the Democrats will send the next check to you in the month of August for the month of August. And there you go. That is the first of three parts of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. But in a second, I'm going to go over the second one with the breaking news about the president, the Congress, talking about your monthly stimulus checks. It is all wonderful breaking news in the last 24 hours. And it's coming up in just a second. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. In the second half, we go over your fifth stimulus. And that fifth stimulus is wonderful. But suddenly, there's an additional $1 billion that could impact this even more. I'll be going over all that breaking news and what you should anticipate with the jobs number this morning. So now let's turn to the big money that you can get right now. This channel's all been about getting people money. I don't just read a script on air. Clearly, there's no script in my hand. My hands are to get you money. And on day one, I got viewers money, and to this day, I'm still getting you money. I got viewers $25 million of EID alone to save their businesses, that their loans were held up and not getting approved early on in the pandemic. Got people money to save their businesses. I saved their homes, and I saved their employees' homes. Then in the fall of 2020, second stimulus was not paying pass, so I stepped up and started to ensure that you got money for rent and utilities from first stimulus. Well, we're back doing it again. And so get that pen and paper ready, or if you got a Crayola crayon, and I'm wearing blue, get that Crayola crayon ready, and let's get to the details. I got a lot of money to give you in this video. Get you in this video, not give you. Get you, yeah. Don't send me an IOU, please. Get you in this video. So stay to the very end, and we're starting first with rent. There's $350 billion that's available for you coming from the federal government to your cities, counties, and states that is for you for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. And I want you to get it, and we're going to get it right now. And we're going to go over the different locations. They all have different eligibility. So if one says no, don't worry, go to the next. They'll say yes. You got that pen and paper or Crayola crayon ready? Here we go. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Reach out to them and say you need rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID. Or mortgage assistance because of COVID. Don't say words that they don't know, like stimulus. They don't know that word. And don't say sirloin. They may know him, but just don't say it anyway. Don't say sirloin or sirloin stimulus or cow coin either. They just don't know these words. And there you go. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this money, and viewers that continue to get it. If you got money for this or any of the things I cover in this video, drop in the chat, say what you got, or in the comments. It inspires other viewers as well. All right, the next pot of money, it started this week on Monday with one viewer saying she got $7,000 for it. Lynn Glenn got it for herself, for her son, and her mom. And also Gail got it. What is it? It's the wonderful SNAP. SNAP has been one of the big success stories of this channel. What is SNAP? How do you get it? And what are the details? Let's go over all of that right now. It is money for food. You get it from Department of Agriculture. Reach out to DOA and get that money. How much money is it? A family of four in Hawaii can get upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow. Why so much? Because of two executive orders. One from Biden and one from Trump that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. There you go. $5,000 for rent, $16,000 for SNAP for a family of four in Hawaii, and we are killing it. We are only 9 minutes of this video. Well, I got more money for you right now. It is $5,000. One viewer got this money. What is it? It is money coming back to you from your state. The federal government has identified states as overpaying you unemployment benefits due to a computer error. Not your computer, their computer. The federal government has ordered the states to return the money back to you. Congratulations. One viewer got $5,000 from this. So how are you going to get the money? To the account you have on file. When are you going to get the money? Reach out to your respective state for routing times. Next, the next pot of money. Over a week ago, COD jumped into our overnight show, now airing right at the same as time of this broadcast. Overnight's Crypto, our hit show, goes for 15 hours, to tell me that he got this money and wanted you to know about it as well. That is a true spirit of the Purple Power, going out of his way to find me to tell you to share that information so it helps you. Thank you, COD. So let's go over what this is, how you get it, routing times, and more. First, it is money back from IRS that you paid on that 2020 tax return for your unemployment benefits. Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. Your total IRS tax bill was $5,000, of which $4,000 was your taxes on that unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back a check of $4,000. Next, how are you getting back that check? If you're like COD, who had direct deposit set up, it'll go to that. Otherwise, it'll go in the mail. So watch that mail. Go slowly through it because the envelope is razor thin. Next, when? This month. And finally, can you track it? Generally, yeah. Go to irs.gov, put up a username and password in there, do a transcript search, and about 70% of the time it works and reveals when you paid your taxes, when you filed a tax return, and when you got a refund check. And there you go. Can we get better than that? Of course we can get better than that. You know what's better than that. And it's a second half of your fourth stimulus check update starting right now. And boy, it is wonderful. The president's talking about your fourth stimulus check. The Senate's talking about your fourth stimulus check. The House is talking about your fourth stimulus check. The print media is talking about your fourth stimulus check. Who is not talking about your fourth stimulus check? Republicans and Republican press. And so let's go over the incredible details. First, there's a series of major breaking details that happened the last 24 to 48 hours. Number one, the president was asked, does he like a fourth stimulus check or multiple stimulus checks? And was asked, does he like the proposal of monthly stimulus checks? Had no objection to it. If they want to do it, yeah, good. Okay, check that one off. Thank you, Mr. President. You know, he was never going to veto stimulus checks. Who in their right mind as a president would ever veto stimulus checks? Yeah, I'm not going to send Americans money in need of money. Yeah, that's never going to happen. So it was just not going to happen. But they asked him, he liked it. Okay, good. Check that off the list. Next. Next, the press is really running one of the letters you're going to see in a second about monthly stimulus checks over and over again. It's incredible, great news. Third, and this is probably the one that I'm most excited about, is that several House committees are confirming they have already been marking up the fourth stimulus check bill draft in the last few days. Yes, I'm excited about that one. And then finally, this week, the president is meeting in person leaders around the country to sign into law an ancillary bill that pulls fourth stimulus to the finish line. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's go over all the details starting right now. It started over a week ago when Leader Schumer announced in a Friday press conference no less than three things that I had told you he was likely to say. One, Leader Schumer confirmed my reporting that the reconciliation process was underway. Second, he confirmed my reporting that the reconciliation process would be called to a final vote, because he had said that before, by July 4th. And number three, that he was not going to hold up the reconciliation process for bipartisan negotiations. That also got an update in the last 24 hours. The President of the United States has ended negotiations with Shelley Moore Capito a second time and has said, you know, if that Mitt Romney group wants to come and meet with me, they can. But, you know, it's just this meeting saying, hi, how are you? The Congress, the Democratic caucus in the Congress is pushing right through with reconciliation. They're not waiting around for Mitt Romney. That's very clear. So that was how we started. But how do we get to that point? Well, it started with Jalapal, who wrote Schumer a letter saying, call the vote, chalk on the reconciliation. Now, I'm not so concerned about the letter. I'm interested with who signed it. 12 House Democrats signed the letter to Leader Schumer saying call the vote. And those 12 House Democrats are among the 100-plus House Democrats who wrote the president a letter a week earlier saying, we're going to be putting Jala Paul's monthly stimulus checks into the forced stimulus package. Wow. Now that's incredible, great news. And if that's not even more obvious, obviously, the president never wrote back and said, no, don't do that. And now has been asked about it. Said, oh, yeah, okay, whatever you want to do. So long as I get my bridges and railroads, I'm fine. Can we top that? We can't top that. When 7 House Democrats wrote the president then a letter directly and said, we're going to work with you to put monthly stimulus checks into the forced stimulus package. Wow. What does work with you mean? It's a euphemism because the president doesn't write legislation. He proposes stuff. And as long as he has his railroad stuff and roads and bridges stuff, he's fine. You can add stuff on top of that. So who are these people say they're going to write this legislation about your monthly stimulus checks? There just happen to be the people who are responsible to do that. Oh my goodness. Did they write the first stimulus check? They did. Did they write the second stimulus check? They did. Did they write the third? They did. And now they're saying they're going to write the fourth? They are. And for the first time on Early Mornings LA, I'm about to reveal this as well. They are now indicating they're going to write the fifth stimulus check as well. Breathe. Let's all breathe. Really? Did you say fifth stimulus check? I did. Yes. This letter, which I've been talking about for a while, says that they're putting 4 stimulus checks in there. They are now marking up the legislation currently in the House subcommittees. And the letter, for the first time you revealed on Early Mornings LA, also says that they will be anxious to put a 5th stimulus check in the 5th stimulus package as well. And if that's even more obvious, then if that can get even better, great news than that. What's better than this? What is better news than this? What's better than this is that this letter is front page news. It is front page news in print and broadcast media all across the board. And it's specifically the letter asked of the president's staff about the 4th stimulus check. Wow. Now that is incredible. Everyone's talking about it. So then that brings us up to the next thing, which is what the president's doing this week. Why is the president flying internationally, and does it have something to do with forced stimulus? It has everything to do with forced stimulus. Let's go back to that event that I had told you was on a Tuesday recently that I said was very confusing and I needed to slow it down. I'm going to slow it down because that's why the president's going overseas, and it's about forced stimulus. The president's forced stimulus package is paid for by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate from 21% to a higher rate. Well, the president had told press and everyone involved that he was concerned by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate, businesses in the United States may leave U.S. territories and move their operations overseas, let's say to France, leave New York and let's say go to France. So he had said, we have an issue. I need to reach out to the G7 countries and get them to raise the global minimum corporate tax rate. And I had told you on a recent Tuesday that they had tentatively said yes. And then I also had told you that Tuesday, the president reached out to insiders and said, well, after forced stimulus is passed into law, I'll reach out to those G7 countries to sign into law that global minimum corporate tax rate. And then if they do, I'll come back and lower the U.S. corporate tax rate under the forced stimulus package to make it closer to where it is right now. Wonderful news. Stimulus checks and then a lower corporate tax rate. So what's the president doing today and this week? He's signing that into law before forced stimulus. How did we get there? We got there last Friday when I had told you that I had heard that the president was going overseas. That the president was meeting with the G7 countries leaders on Saturday. And I said I didn't know why. Tune into Early Mornings LA and Mornings LA on Saturday. And on Mornings LA last Saturday, I said, surprise, the president just got the G7 countries to agree to a global minimum corporate tax rate of 15% before the forced stimulus, and that he's going to go overseas this week, today and tomorrow, to sign it in person for his first overseas trip as president to pull the tow truck and pull the tow hitch over the finish line before forced stimulus is even called for a vote. This is jaw-dropping. It shows the significance. Why? Because the president really wants that global minimum corporate tax rate to be signed as ancillary legislation formally, and he's getting it done before forced stimulus is signed into law. Oh my goodness. Now that is incredible news. The only thing better than that is the volunteers. The spirit of this channel is helping people, and I want you to reach out to the volunteers that can help you get that rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and homeowners assistance if you can't find it yourself. If you made a look and you can't find it, then reach out to them. Open the description of this video. Go down in the description till you find the link to the community page. It has an emoji of a house and then a link to the community page. Click that link and reach out to the volunteers. They're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them. They'll help you find that money for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. I'll be back in 60 seconds with more exciting news still about fourth stimulus and also the big developing details about fifth stimulus. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Early Mornings LALATE. The toast is toasted, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing, and the espresso's coming out slowly. There it goes. How are you? It's a big early mornings broadcast. I'm excited for you to join me. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. Also, like this video and consider becoming a member. At the same time, this broadcast is Overnight's Crypto, so jump into that show when this one ends. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Subscribe, hit that like button, and consider becoming a member. Let's go right into fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall, but there is a series of breaking news today about it and a major development overnight about this as well. Let's go over what's going on. First, they're going to raise up your benefits to a big new number. Then they'll remove the asset limit, add inflationary benchmark, then remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over what that means, the breaking news, and the other surprising, wonderful breaking statement from the president about this as well. Well, how does this work? They're first going to raise up all your benefits. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI or SSDI, Social Security Railroad Benefits, Veterans Benefits, or SSA, the Democrats propose that they'll raise up your benefits in fifth stimulus. Then they'll apply a benchmark, and that benchmark will be inflation. Now, the reason why inflation is wonderful is because inflation is going to be high. In fact, it's expected to be its highest of a generation this December when they apply the benchmark. How does a benchmark work? Let's go over the details. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then, in December, they will look to that benchmark. Let's say the benchmark is 6%. Let's say the inflation rate is 6%. Then they'll step you up an additional 6%. But not just then, lifetime. Once they step you down with a benchmark, once they step you up with a benchmark, they never step you down. Yes. So let's say the inflation rate the year after that is 0%, then you're still plus 6%. The year after that, the inflation rate, let's say, is 1%, then you're a +1 plus 6%. It is wonderful. That is why having the highest inflation rate of a generation in December will likely give you the biggest benefits lift of a lifetime. It's wonderful news. What else is in fifth stimulus? Well, they're going to get rid of that 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand if you stay on benefits. It's going to go away, so you'll be able to have a stimulus check in your hand. Next, they'll get rid of that income exclusion. It's a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. It's going to go away, so you're going to be able to work if you want. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to end. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest, not lose benefits. And if you are married, you'll no longer suffer a penalty. That's fifth stimulus. Now, let's first go over the two breaking details of news that are happening today and the one that happened yesterday. First, you're going to see the CPI number happen today and tomorrow, at least predictions of it. And shortly after sunrise, you're going to see the new labor jobless claims numbers come out today. They will give us some insight as to where that inflation number will go. But the real thing that I'm very excited about, this is huge, is the president announced yesterday that he's dedicated an additional $1 billion in his budget bill, not stimulus bill. It's a whole other bill that I'm not going to cover on this channel. He's going to dedicate an additional $1 billion to the benefits program to ensure the administration of benefits is done faster, quicker, and more equitably, so that when we get to things like stimulus checks, people won't get them in waves. The things will just come out faster. Remember on the third stimulus, a lot of you weren't getting your stimulus checks on the third stimulus package in March, like some people are getting them in February, and some are waiting to April. They're not going to do that anymore. They're going to pay more money to the administration and upgrade their systems so that people get benefits faster. It's wonderful news. And with that, now let's turn back to fourth stimulus and two great things you need to know about fourth stimulus this morning. One is the voting process and also an update of where we are and my perspective. First, the voting process. It's 9 steps, and those 9 steps are required by the Constitution. The first half are procedural. The second half are substantive. Step 1, the House subcommittee calls a procedural vote. Step 2, the House floor calls a procedural vote. Step 3, the Senate calls a procedural vote. And step 4, the president signs into law the procedural bill. At this point, the tow truck has passed over the finish line. Time to go get the tow hitch. Now the substantive bill goes to the House subcommittee. It's at that point that the House subcommittee could put those monthly stimulus checks in there. Understand, the House subcommittees are already marking up the bill. Step 6 and 7, step 6, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8, the vote-a-rama happens in the Senate. During that vote-a-rama, the senators can modify, amend anything they got from the House. So, if there were no stimulus checks in there, they can add them. If there were, they can modify them or leave them alone. And step 9, the president signs into law your fourth stimulus package. And finally, my perspective. It's very important to note that the push of fourth stimulus is imperative. It's imperative. I see some people in the comments saying, I really hope. It's good to hope, but it's also important to push. This channel's Purple Power is about pushing. And as legislators are now at the point of drafting, marking up the legislation, you want to make sure they mark it up the way you want it marked up. So start the hashtag MSC, hashtag Purple Power. Be on social media, share these videos, tag elected officials. More importantly, it's important to know that you make the push because the legislators, specifically Democrats, have written legislation that became law and have still not sent out some money, have had bills that never went to law, have had proposals that never went to bill, and had suggestions that never went to proposals. So it's always important to understand that until it's actually pushed out the door, you want to continue to push to ensure the Democrats give it to you. And let's recap where we are. The Democrats propose that there will be a monthly fourth stimulus check. The Democrats are currently in the reconciliation process. The Democrats do not need any Republicans for the vote. The Democrats are in full caucus agreement despite any inroads from this weekend. Joe Manchin and others have all indicated that they will agree to the fourth stimulus. The president will agree to any inclusion of a stimulus check, and that the entire process will finish no later than July, and the Democrats represent you would get the first check in the month of July. Let's push them and keep the pushing going. And with that, thank you for joining me on a big early mornings broadcast. Thank you for your very nice comments and welcoming back. It's good to be back. Understand that fourth stimulus is front page news with the president, with the Democrats, in the House and the Senate, and print and broadcast media. But when you turn to media that is slanted towards the GOP. They won't speak about stimulus checks because it's not coming from the Republicans. It's coming from the Democrats. But you need to push the Democrats to ensure they get it out the door. And with that, make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Make sure you also like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. And make sure you stay with me as we go into Overnight's Crypto next after the show, and then Mornings LALATE after that. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LALATE.